Hello. I am seeing the scroll and wondering, oh, there you are. Good morning, everybody. My name is Crispina French, and I am a lifelong, passionate textile recycling environmental artist and entrepreneur. And today is day number, I think it's day number 16 or 17. And it's 16, 17. It's in the comments. I'm not looking at my tally right now. Anyway, it's a day number 16 or 17 in my 30-day series all about creative textile recycling and how that really plays a role in, especially now, right? Especially now, we're all living in this sort of new mindset of pandemia, if that's a word, and just thinking about our future and our how we do things, and things like grocery shopping and going to the post office, and the idea of our kids going back to school. All of those things kind of instill a little bit of anxiety and fear in most people, and maybe not fear, but just you're thinking about things in a different way than you have in the past. And for people who have been around for a few years like myself, it's just an extra kind of thought process, and it kind of does add up over time, and you just kind of find yourself in this kind of quandary of like what to expect and how to make plans and all that sort of thing. So I find that this creative process, and others, but this is my favorite creative process, you wind up kind of falling into this kind of productive meditative state when you're using your right brain to make. And I really encourage it because it feels so good to be using recycled materials and contributing to the healing of the planet in that way by not generating more waste in the world and actually pulling waste out of the waste stream. And also being creative, and there's not a huge investment that's needed. All the tools are quite simple, and materials are quite accessible most of the time right in your very own home. Although if you have Marie Kondo'd your home and you have no material kicking around, there are a couple of fun ways that I can suggest that you can find material. So today we're going to I'll talk more about that, and I'll also talk about using materials that are precious, family, antique kind of heirlooms that might not have a lot of use in your life. Like, I don't know, I have a collection that I'm going to show you in just a few minutes that is from a dear friend of mine who gave me her linen collection from her grandmother, her great grandmother, and her mother. And it's all like linen napkins, tablecloths, beautiful stuff that's all like intricately handmade, but it's been sitting in a tub for 20 years. Nobody's appreciated it, and she gave it to me because she felt as though my craft could kind of bring it into the light a little bit more. So as far as collecting materials go, you can put a call out to your friends, and you might want to start with stuff that's not quite so precious as the family linens. And I just brought a couple samples. Like, this is a stash. I'm just going to show you the whole stack. This is a stack of plain old run-of-the-mill t-shirts that I am going to be using for some potholder rugs that I'm going to be making coming right up. So you can start with this type of material, okay? And regular old t-shirts, I like to try to find the ones that are like 100% cotton. This one on top, they're all different. There's some that are a mixture. When I'm making rugs, I don't pay as much attention to the fiber content. I just feel like if I can use the material before it goes to the landfill, that's great. And it's, if it's headed to the landfill already, why not use it? If it's in a rug, it's not going to be next to my skin or uncomfortable to touch just because it's a fiber that I don't particularly care for next to my skin. So the family heirlooms. Hold on one second. I'm going to grab this tub and show you what I've got here. So you can see what the heck I'm talking about because it's quite amazing. So every once in a while, and actually since the pandemic, I've been really hesitant to thrift store shop. So I've been I have compiled, I have a treasure trove of material that I kind of gather, and I have gathered for, as whenever I thrift shop. And I haven't been to the thrift store since before March, but it's given me a really nice opportunity to kind of work through the materials that I do have. And I have had several, more than usual, people send me boxes of amazing treasure. One woman who I talked about before sent me 3 boxes of the most beautiful woolen blankets, sweaters, cashmere sweaters, nothing that's like heirloom quality, but just like beautiful material. And I don't know her. She saw an article about me in one of the magazines and sent me the boxes. So thank you so much. Her name is Virginia Seidel. She lives in New York City. And my girlfriend Eleanor Hartwell gave me a tub too. This is not from Eleanor's tub, but this is the kind of thing I'm talking about. This is a hand embroidered. I'm going to stand back and see if I can give you a larger view of this piece. It's a hand embroidered tablecloth. And, all the way around. And we've been talking a lot about embroidery over the last few weeks with the live sessions. And so you can appreciate how much work has gone into this beautiful piece, right? Like that's all it's embroidery floss sewn with a needle, just like we've been talking about. And then they crocheted the edge. It's probably a little hard to decipher, but a lot of handwork, hours and hours of time went into this beautiful piece. And I don't know, we do use tablecloths in our house a little bit, not so much, but I think that, we're all wearing masks right now. And I know that, traditionally, women especially have really kind of gussied up their faces by using makeup, by, some people do weird things to their faces with plastic surgery and whatnot. People do cupping to their faces. There's all kinds of ways that people really care about how they appear, and especially their face. So it seems to me as though the future of masks might get a little fancy. And it might be a little fun because, when you see somebody, like the first thing that you kind of contact with in any kind of shared interaction is normally their face. So I have a sort of inkling that I might put some of these beautiful textiles that we're going to look at today into some masks. The other thing that you could do, which might also happen with these, the jury's out on the actual end use of this stuff, but you could also use it for garment pieces. Okay, so I'm just going to go through the stack as I have it here. In the boxes from Mrs. Seidel in New York City came these beautiful, this is look at that, right? This is it's a cross stitch, I think it's called, or needlepoint. It's needlepoint. And I'm not exactly sure how to go about using that, but you might see that in a blanket or maybe in the back of a jacket. It's thick, it's kind of dense, and it's not something that's like super soft next to your skin, so I'm not sure if a blanket would be the right thing, but maybe the back of a jean jacket or something like that. Here's another one. This is a little bit of a different texture, also handmade, and I'm not sure the technique would be called on this, but how cute is that? It looks like it was a chair pad. That's a little softer. Another needlepoint, just the coolest stuff, right? This is all hand done by people, it's not professionally made. They're just people who like to craft, kind of like you and I. Look at the inside of that one. It's just beautiful, right? It's not worn. It's painstakingly done. And then I got a piece of this amazing chenille bedspread that is just like a remnant, but I think these pieces are going to influence my collection this fall for clothing, which I will be doing this year. All of my shows, my biggest show of the year is normally the Rhinebeck, New York. They have this beautiful, huge, it's called the New York Sheep and Wool Festival, and it's this amazing event that is not going to happen this year. It's going to be, they'll do some kind of a virtual sort of stand-in for it, but it's literally the busiest show of my year, and it's so much fun, and you can camp out, and they have everything that has to do with sheep or wool there. Like, they have sheep. You can actually buy sheep there. Sheepdog, sheep, fleeces, knitting needles, the most amazing array of yarn from literally all over the world, vendors that come along with it. So you have interesting conversation. There's knitting patterns. You go outside at lunchtime, and I am not even kidding you guys, and you can hear this like little tappity tap tap tap, and it's people knitting. And it's like, it's in the fall, it's in October, the leaves are all just like raging full of color, and the breeze is beautiful, and it's usually a little chilly, just the right temperature to wear something gorgeous in wool that you made. And it's just what a treat that whole event is. And this year we're all going to have to do without it. So I am going to do the best I can to create something. It won't be like that, but it'll be hopefully super fun and awesome online this fall with my winter and fall collection. So I'm thinking probably like early November. That show normally happens in October, so I think early November is a good time to catch up with everybody, because in October, I don't know about you guys, but one of my favorite things to do is be outdoors that time of year. And yeah, I don't want you to have to be inside watching your computer to keep up with my stuff. Okay, are you ready for this? This is a box of the most incredible, like, this must have been like a table runner or something. It's linen. And I'm just going to hold it really close so you can see. Look at that detail. Isn't that amazing? Like, I don't know how to, well, I will come up with something. I want you to just put these things in your thought process for what you might be able to create with them. I mean, look at the edge. Can you see these little triangles? I mean, somebody, I don't even know, is that tatting? I have no idea. All I know is that somebody spent a ton of time making this incredible stuff. And I'm not entirely sure if this was like a homemade piece. I think this is more of a commercially created piece, but at any rate, just look at this one. Again, like, the detail is just so beautiful. This looks to me like something that would be a really beautiful, like, wedding dress or summer, something fancy to wear. So you'll have to keep your eyes peeled. I think actually these lighter weight pieces might have to wait until spring for their set next to life. And then there's just like these beautiful napkins, which are, so I want to talk to you a little bit about this. Okay, so I do have, this is not the first collection. Okay, cool. The black pillow cover is a chenille needlepoint technique. Okay, good to know. I had no idea. Thank you, Kathleen. Thanks for being with me today. That's awesome. Really good to know. This is the one she's talking about in case you just joined us. This is a pillow cover that someone passed on to me to use for my work, and I'm really excited about adding those too. I think the ones that incorporate wool, like this, the actual image is created out of wool. So I think that the woolly ones will probably be in my fall and winter collection. Well, some of these more intricate, lighter weight pieces. Look at this one, says it's made in Italy. This one's still got a tag on it. So these might have to wait until spring to be, look at that. That's just the coolest thing. Like, oh my goodness, I don't know. Like, wow. This one was definitely commercially created. It's not, I don't know that it was hand done. If it was hand done, it was done by somebody who made a lot of them because it's very mechanically beautiful on the back side. Here's some more antique stuff. Ooh, look at that. Little pillow cover. It's like, wow. Anyway, so I just wanted to share with you my special treat that my girlfriend Eleanor It's awesome. Wait a minute. Somebody says, um, oh, can't Roselle. So my girlfriend Roselle's on, you guys. She lives in Florida, and we usually see each other in the summertime, but not this year. So, yeah, well, I don't know how you're doing down there in Florida today. It's not quite as hot as it has been, Roselle, but man, I actually broke down and got an air conditioner first time in my life because I just, wow. Today's beautiful though. Okay, so we're talking about materials. We're talking about finding materials, gathering materials. Now, especially in this time of a pandemic where you really have to be careful. So, if you do go to the thrift store, wear a mask and wear gloves. And before you use anything that you've purchased from the thrift store, be sure to let it sit for a few days and then open the bags, machine wash and dry everything right off the bat before you even really look at it. Unless you're getting something like I got from my friend Eleanor, this beautiful collection of her family heirloom linens, which I know have been sitting in a box for 20 years, so they're not, long before COVID came along and changed everything up on us. So if good morning, Lisa Leprecht from where are you from, Lisa? Pop that in the comments. Debbie, you're here. Oh, this is awesome, you guys. We got a nice crew going on today. So, yes, gathering material. Thrift stores are one way to go. Like I said, I'm not recommending that you do go to the thrift store. I'm just saying that if you do go, be careful and be mindful and wear a mask and wear gloves because clothing holds a lot of grime, and most thrift stores do not machine wash and dry or even clean the clothing that they sell before they sell it, so be forewarned. The other thing you can do is put a call out, which is actually a really great thing to do, and people super appreciate it. So if you have a Facebook page, or you have a bunch of friends, or if maybe you have an email list and you're looking to collect materials of any particular kind, you can say to your friends, hey, I'm looking for, let's just pick something, denim jeans. I want to make some denim jean blankets, or I'm covering my couch and I want to use denim jeans to cover the reupholster. Most people are really happy to donate clothing to people that they know are going to use it. And it also gives them an opportunity to kind of learn about your process and possibly open their mind to something that they might not have considered in the past. So calling out for donations is a great way to go. The other thing you can do is if you have t-shirt screen printing, like shops that make screen printed t-shirts, or like embroidery shops that do embroidery on t-shirts for whatever, the local coffee shop, or that kind of a business, a commercial screen printing t-shirt place. Most often those companies have mistakes that they've made, or they run, they'll have a few shirts that they just run the first print on to make sure everything's working properly, and they fill the shirt up with prints and then they discard it because they can't use it. So a lot of times those kinds of places are also very happy about donating to someone who's going to give those shirts a second use. And then in addition, if you are a runner or a competitive racer of any kind, you know that companies like the American Red Cross, for instance, runs road races, and they oftentimes will have leftovers, like a lot of leftovers of shirts from events that they've put together that they're not using, and they're usually dated, or they have the name of the event and the year on them, so they can't use them again the next year. And those places are also often very happy to find a use for those shirts. So if you're interested in t-shirts, you can really find that way pretty easily. So if those work great for potholder rugs, which I'm actually offering a course in potholder rugs this fall. If you're interested in that, hop on my email list on my website. And if you're interested in finding wool sweaters or cashmere sweaters or different kinds of material that might not be as common for people to have kicking around their house that they're not using, you can still try those techniques of calling out for them and looking for them that way. And you can also look online. There's a place on Etsy that sells bales, like 100-pound bales of used sweaters that I don't know the name of that company, but if you go on Etsy and search used clothing in bales, I bet you that they would come up. I'm not sure if they sell other materials. They might have things other than wool sweaters, but that way you can avoid having to be in public around lots of people or around lots of clothes that have been worn by lots of people. So Roselle, you have massive amounts of antique linens with my family monograms. I sleep in my grandparents' linen sheets. Isn't that cool? I mean, they're just like, I honestly, like, sheets. Can we talk about sheets for just a second? Like, they just don't make sheets like they used to. Because I just bought a bunch of sheets for our house. For my kids both got new size beds. And, well, we bought them a year ago. And the sheets I bought a year ago are completely shot, threadbare, worn out. They're awful. Like, I don't even know what to do with them. Like, I'm not even sure I could recycle them. Their quality is just so abysmal. But hey, Marianne, first time here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. So okay, the sheets. Back to my sheet conversation. The sheets I bought a year ago are completely worn out. So I just bought new sheets, and I'm hoping the ones that I purchased this time from a different company will last a little bit longer. But I like the 100% cotton sheets, and the ones that I purchased recently they look like they're much a better quality. So hopefully they'll last a while. Oh yeah, so yes, I do use the potholder rugs. Are actually, you can make them out of literally any kind of stretchy material, and it doesn't matter if there's holes, stains, imperfections. All of those things disappear when you start making potholder rugs. So if you have, let me just tell you, single socks, potholder rugs. So that'll make you think twice about what color socks you buy this fall. So yes, materials are literally everywhere. A statistic that is a little bit of a jaw dropper is that 85% of the textile waste, used clothing, generated in the United States is thrown in the landfill. 15% is donated. I would like to see those numbers reversed. I would like each of us who are here today watching this to make a concerted effort to stop the landfilling of perfectly good clothing that's not necessarily useful to that person. So let's do it. Let's spread the word. It's so easy, and it just feels so much better than taking a giant box of useful things to the landfill or the transfer station. So the way that you can go about donating clothing is at our transfer station in Massachusetts, and I'm not sure, it'd be interesting actually for people who are from other places to let me know if this is also the case for them, is at our dump, or we call it a dump, it's actually a transfer station, there are big bins where you can put used clothing that is picked up by, is it Planet Aid, or I'm not sure, there's different, what's it called? There's a couple of different companies that operate in our region that have these boxes. You've seen them. They're kind of like a dumpster. You put the bags in, and sometimes there's bags all around the outside of them if they don't pick them up often enough. That is one way of donating. The other way of donating, which I think is actually probably a better way to go if you can, is to bring your clothing donations right to the actual place. So if it's Salvation Army, Goodwill, St. Vincent de Paul, whatever you have in your area. And for us, it's mainly Salvation Army and Goodwill. So is that how it works where you guys are? I actually just noticed for a while during the pandemic, our transfer station was not taking clothing donations, so I have quite a pile built up. Now they're back receiving them, so you can see, if that's the case where you are. And then the other thing is, if you have stuff and you just don't know what to do with it, and you're not using it, and you're not thinking about doing any recycling with it, post it on my Facebook page. If you have a collection of, I have 30 t-shirts from races I ran in the last 5 years, I'm never going to use them. Somebody on my Facebook page might very possibly be very excited about that. So that might be a good way to go as well. And yeah, so the materials are literally all around you. And you know, you can recycle by donating, or you can recycle by creating, or you can recycle by swapping. So that's another fun thing to do. I used to organize an annual clothing swap, and boy, that was a lot of work, but really super fun. And people would come. I'd invite people from all over my region, and it was open to the public, and we would bring whatever. But I think there were, I can't remember now if it was 12, bring 12 pieces, and whatever was left over and not swapped at the meet was donated to our local thrift store. So it was kind of a win-win. One of the things I just want to let you know is that thrift stores get really sick of taking people's trash. So make sure that whatever you are donating to your local thrift store is like wearable, useful. It's not something that someone's going to need to repair or clean. Like, wash it, throw it in the wash machine and dryer. It's pretty easy for most of us to do that. And sometimes people who shop at these places are, they have limited availability of things of our, modern conveniences that some of us are just really used to. So if it's not wearable, if it's dirty or torn, either fix it or clean it, or that kind of thing can actually be turned into rags for your own household, or thrown away. So let's see, what time is it? It's getting a little late. So maybe tomorrow we'll talk about how this textile recycling kind of spills over into all aspects of my life, and about how wonderful that is on so many levels, and about just ways that I'm able to use the textile waste that I generate in my household for the most part for, I'm able to give it a second or even third life. So if you're interested in learning more about that, tune back in with me tomorrow. And then I'll be here every day until August 11th, live at 11 right here on Facebook. And you can watch recordings. If you scroll down, there's a couple weeks worth. And you can also hop over to my YouTube channel and see other series I've done, and also see this current series and the episodes that have come before if you're new here. So thanks so much for being with me today, you guys. I really appreciate it, and I hope that you're having a happy hump day. Bye.